Welcome to the Restaurant Daily Dish, the podcast from copycat.com where we break down your favorite restaurant recipes so you can recreate them at home. Today is March 16th, and I'm your host, Stephanie Manley, the creator of copycat.com, and today we are diving into the crispy world of Long John Silver's iconic battered fish. You know that moment when you bite into a piece of perfectly fried fish, that satisfying crunch, followed by tender flaky fish inside? For many of us, Long John Silver's was our first introduction to that delicious contrast of textures, and its flavor memory really sticks with you. I actually have a personal connection to this recipe. I still remember when we went to our first Long John Silver's that opened up in my hometown, Pueblo, Colorado. My family piled into the car, and I was instantly hooked on that crispy batter. It was different from any other fish and chips that I had had before. It was lighter, it was crispier, with a distinctive flavor that was impossible to forget. For years, I was on a mission to recreate that signature batter at home. And after countless test batches and some delicious research, I've cracked the code. The secret, my friends, isn't beer like in traditional fish and chips, it's club soda. That simple substitution makes all the difference in creating that airy, crispy coating that made Long John Silver's famous. So what makes this copycat recipe different from others that you might find online? It's all about understanding the science behind that perfect crunch. Most copycat recipes miss the mark because they use beer or too much flour, resulting in a heavy, dense coating. The Long John Silver's batter is distinctively light with a specific flavor profile. The combination of club soda, baking powder, and baking soda creates tiny air bubbles that expand when they hit the hot oil, giving you that signature crispy texture. Now let's talk ingredients. For this recipe, you'll need all-purpose flour, cornstarch, sugar, salt, baking powder, baking soda, onion salt, paprika, black pepper, and the star of the show, club soda. For the fish itself, cod or pollock are the authentic choices, but any firm white fish will work beautifully. Now, I do one variation in this recipe. Long John Silver's fish batter contains MSG. Many people are sensitive to MSG, so I do not include it in this recipe. Now, the exact ingredients are in the show notes, so just click on the show notes and I will take you right to the recipe there. Now, let's get back to this. Now, for the technique, this is where most home cooks go wrong, so listen carefully. First, the temperature control is absolutely critical. Your oil needs to be 350 degrees. Too hot, the batter will burn before the fish cooks. Too cool, you will end up with a greasy, soggy piece of fish. So you can either use a deep fry thermometer or a deep fryer itself that can maintain temperature control. It's worth it. I promise the results will turn out better. Now, the next thing I think you need to do to get the technique just right is what I call kind of the dip and lift technique. After coating the fish in batter, don't just drop it into the oil because the oil may stick to a fryer basket if you're using one. So what I like to do is to lower it in and immediately lift it up slightly and then lower it again. If you do this a few times in quick succession, this allows the outer layer of the batter to set slightly, preventing it from sliding off or expanding too dramatically. It's a small step that makes a huge difference. And finally, only mix in the club soda when you're ready to fry. The carbonation creates a light texture that diminishes quickly once the soda is opened and mixed into the batter. So if you mix the batter and then answer a phone call, you may have lost some of that magical lift. Now let me walk you through the entire process step by step. First, you're going to pat your fish fillets dry and cut them into smaller portions, no larger than 3 ounces. This size ensures proper cooking and keeps the batter intact. In a large bowl, you need to combine your dry ingredients: the flour, the cornstarch, sugar, salt, baking powder, baking soda, the onion salt, paprika, and black pepper. Whisk them thoroughly to ensure an even distribution. Heat your oil to exactly 350 degrees. While it's heating up, set up a draining station. A wire rack or a baking sheet will be perfect. You don't want to set the fish onto paper towels because it will steam and you'll lose some of that crispiness. So put your fish on a wire rack and it will drain just fine. Now, dip each piece of fish, allowing excess to drip off. Then use that dip and lift technique as you lower it into the oil. Fry just 2 to 3 pieces at a time to maintain temperature, and cook it for about 2 to 3 minutes until golden brown and crispy. Carefully remove with a slotted spoon or a spider strainer and place on your prepared rack. Always let the oil return to temperature before adding the next batch. Now, what if you're not in the mood for fish? The good news is that this batter is incredibly versatile. You can use it for shrimp, chicken tenders that rival Long John Silver's chicken planks, or even vegetables like onion rings and mushrooms. Now let's talk a little bit of troubleshooting, because I know everybody's not familiar with frying fish. Now, if your batter is falling off your fish, there are likely 3 culprits. One is your fish is too wet, so you need to pat it dry completely with paper towels. Your batter's too thin, it should coat the back of a spoon, or your oil temperature is too low. So if your batter's too thin, add a little bit of all-purpose flour, and that should thicken it up. And if your oil temperature is too low, you should really check it with a thermometer to make sure that it's at 350 degrees. If your batter isn't getting crispy, you really need to check your oil temperature first. Using a thermometer isn't cheating, it's smart. Also, make sure you're not overcrowding the fryer, which causes the temperature to drop dramatically. For those wondering about make-ahead options, you can mix the dry ingredients in advance, but remember, the club soda should only go in right before frying. To complete this Long John Silver's experience at home, serve your crispy fish with French fries, coleslaw, and even some hush puppies. Don't forget small cups of tartar sauce and malt vinegar and some fresh lemon wedges. Complete the meal with sweetened iced tea, and you've got a fast food feast that might even be better than the original. For the modern twist, you could turn your battered fish into fish tacos with shredded cabbage, lime crema, some pico de gallo, or even create a family-style feast featuring your battered fish, shrimp, and chicken tenders alongside some mac and cheese or baked beans. Now, I know some of you are thinking about leftovers. Well, that's if there are any. For best results, store your fried fish by wrapping individual pieces in paper towels before placing them in an airtight container. They can be kept in the refrigerator for up to 2 days. When it's time to reheat, forget the microwave. It will turn your crispy creation into a soggy disappointment. Instead, use an air fryer at 350 degrees for 4 to 5 minutes, or place the fish on a wire rack in a 350-degree oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. Before I wrap up today's episode, I want to encourage you to experiment with this batter. Once you master this basic technique, you're going to find it's incredibly versatile. Try different seasonings, different proteins, and different vegetables. Make it your own. Now, the full recipe with the exact measurements, detailed instructions is available on our website at copycat.com. You can find the link to the recipe in the show notes. While you're there, you can check out our other copycat recipes like our beer batter, fish and chips, Captain D's fish, or even some delicious crab cakes. Now, this has been the Restaurant Daily Dish from copycat.com. Until next time, keep cooking and keep recreating those favorite restaurant recipes at home. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. And if you try this recipe, we'd love to hear how it turns out. You can leave us a comment on the blog or share it on social media, and be sure to tag at Copycat Recipes on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or your preferred social media platform.